Joining you from the Ritz-Carlton in the Financial District, Pat Cummings. He's incomparable. I'm Joe Christopak on behalf of AmWestEntertainment.com, and we have been at Meydan all week long checking out these horses in the flesh. Dubai World Cup Carnival, sadly, has come to an end, but that only means that we still have the granddaddy of them all, Dubai World Cup night, Pat Cummings, and lots of money on the line along with plenty of prestige.
Yeah, we're talking $30 million in purses roughly, and the carnival coming to an end, but that's a good thing. This is the big day. This is the day we all have been waiting for. The clash of international racing civilizations coming together on one night, one afternoon that will turn into evening. A giant party in the desert. Can't wait.
Saturday, March 28th is the day, and we will be having a live chat to go along with the free live video on AmWestEntertainment.com. The chat will start at 8 a.m., and it will happen throughout the races as we give you our opinions, race by race, on the Dubai World Cup Carnival card. Go to AmWestEntertainment.com for a plethora of information on the Dubai World Cup Carnival, and also pay attention to AmWager.com for all of your wagering needs. Pat, once again to reiterate, Dubai World Cup night, Saturday, March 28th, post time 8:30 a.m. Eastern time for the first thoroughbred race. 8 of them on tap, 5 grade ones, or excuse me, 5 group ones, 3 group twos, $30 million in combined purses, and the $10 million Dubai World Cup is the featured race, 2,000 meters on dirt, 20th running of this prestigious event. Cigar, way back in 1996, the inaugural winner.
We've moved on from the all-weather generation, if you will, the all-weather period. We're past that. We're back onto the dirt. We've got some great dirt horses and plenty to talk about when we get to the big one.
Now we're going to stick on the dirt for the first race we're going to take a look at. This is the Godolphin Mile. It is 1,600 meters, $1 million on the line. And, you know, Tom Arcuse, you could make a case for him for the horse of the carnival. He once again somehow draws the rail. He's been on fire. He's behaved himself for the most part, and he has dominated at the carnival. Some fresh, some new challenges. He's on the rail again. He has speed, and he is better than ever.
You have a couple shippers that are coming in and trying to tackle him, but he is the favorite, 2-1 on the U.S. North American morning line. No argument about how good he's been at the carnival. The question really is, how good will he be with some new shooters that are coming into the fray? He's a horse that's been dealing in handicap company and 1 mile stake company. He hasn't had to face the likes of Surfer. He hasn't had to deal with a shipper like Sloan Avenue, who's clearly is a classy animal. Let's go back and take a look at his biggest win of the carnival. It came on Super Saturday in the Burj Nahar. It might not have been the biggest win margin-wise, but the first 3 runners all come back here. Tom Arcuse, who was up front pretty much the whole way. Gold City in the red and white striped cap, and then Layel for Doug Watson. Those 2 horses drew gates 10 and 14 in this spot. Tom Arcuse was on the rail there. He's on the rail again in this race. But look, it was just a good workmanlike effort. This is what he's done throughout the course of the carnival. No question about it. Solid performances throughout. He seems to have his head together. There's no question that he has performed as well as he possibly can. Here's my problem, Joe. 2-1 on the morning line in a field of 16 in what is absolutely the most competitive, strongest race he has faced to date. Is this the time you want to back Tom Arcuse at 2-1? I just don't think so.
Completely agree.
This is the time to go against him. And it's a race that comes with various horses that he hasn't faced before who want to go forward. Tom Arcuse will go forward. Freewheeling really knows no other way. He's been doing it on grass, but he wants to run ahead. Braidster, the American, is going to be forwardly placed. Frankie Four Fingers cutting back in distance, back to the mile, which we always thought he was going to do. Gold City is one that will likely show some speed. And it's just going to be a frenetic and classy pace in the race. So for me, I want to go against Tom Arcuse. Now here's the problem. The horse I like is Surfer. Okay. Surfer comes into this drawn in gate 16, and you say, oh, it seems like a tough task. But when you have 5, 6, 7 horses on paper that all want to show some speed and some real prominence and really vie for the lead, I think that opens it up to make 16 not a terrible draw for a horse like Surfer. He does get blinkers on. That's an interesting move. Richard Bowen told me today that he was a little lazy in his last race. So he'll come back on, get blinkers. They expect to have him more forward within the race. I'm taking a shot against the heavy favorite in a 16-horse competitive field in Tamarcuz. I'm going to go with Surfer to mildly upset the Godolphin Mile.
Tom Marcuse didn't make the lead last time, but he did hold the rail. For $1 million, they're not going to let him have it easy on the front end. There's no question about it. I went with Sloan Avenue, who's kind of an unknown commodity in here. Good turf pedigree, or excuse me, good dirt pedigree. Fantastic dirt pedigree. He has been racing well on turf, although he isn't a complete racehorse right now. He's still trying to figure things out. But Jeremy Noceda has had the entire winter to get him straightened out. He's got a lot of upside, and he's going to be a decent price.
Don't forget, he shipped to Florida for the Don Handicap and missed the race with a quarter crack. I've got him on my fourth line in the race. But one horse that I think needs to be considered as well is Prayer for Relief. Has had some hoof issues since he came here to the UAE, but Mike DeCock thinks they have those figured out. He's just one of those horses that's going to sit in that second flight. Had a really good piece of track work on Wednesday. I think Prayer for Relief is in with a shot. I go 16, 8, 1, and 15. We'll get Joe's pick and a little more insight later.
Right on. Race number 3 is the Dubai Gold Cup. 3,200 meters equals 16 furlongs on the turf. This is $1 million race. This is a marathon. This race was very confusing to me. 4-1 on Brown Panther as your morning line favorite. I know we're not going to spend a lot of time on this race, but the horse I wound up selecting in this race is Doubleday. He's in great form, and he has a recency factor. He has Frankie Dettori.
What I will give you about Doubleday is that he always comes running. And he ran in the Shima Classic last year, and he was the one who took the worst of it when Mars came to grief in the turn. And so completely ignore that. He never had a chance to run. He really got chopped out. So I can't be against you completely in that. Here's the thing. There's 2 really classy marathon horses in here. That's 14 Brown Panther and number 8 Bathuron. Like them both. I am not all that keen on the horses that come out of the Nat El Sheba Trophy. Al Munkith, Rio Tigre. Havana Beat, I think, can improve off of that performance, but that was a weird race set up by Firefighting, who went out to a big early lead. I think that was a little strange and maybe set up some of those horses. I think on his day, Brown Panther is the classiest horse in the race. That's why I'm going with him. Bathuron to run second for me. He was only 3 lengths behind Melbourne Cup winner Protectionist earlier last year. He's a real true stayer, Bathuron. But to me, Brown Panther, some of his best performances have been first off the shelf. Saw him in track work on the training track. Looked great. Brown Panther, a favorite, a lukewarm favorite at 4-1 in a 15-horse running of the Dubai Gold Cup.
Now, everyone's waiting for Main Sequence and California Chrome as far as, you know, the Americans when it comes to the top turf horse, Eclipse Award winner, and the horse of the year. But this next race we're going to talk about, the UAE Derby, also of major significance to our friends back home because there is some potential Kentucky Derby significance to this race. By the 2 morning line favorite is Mubtahij, trained by Mike DeCock. 9-2, the third choice is Mav Tool. They're both nominated to the Kentucky Derby. Then we've got a very interesting Japanese horse here in Golden Barrows, who has looked phenomenal on the racetrack in the mornings. He kind of looks like Godzilla himself. This horse is an absolute monster. You've got some other horses here, including Sir Fever, who has 6 months of age on most of these horses as far as age goes. So, you know, where do you go?
Well, this is probably the most unique race in the world so far to date this year, and it might be one of the most unique races all year. You have 3-year-olds from that represent the U.S., My Johnny Be Good, Saudi Arabia in Al Najim Al Faiz and Mutah, the UAE with Mubtahij, and you have your Mav Tool and whatnot. Sir Fever represents the South American form, so you have him in here. And Japan with Tap That, Golden Barrows, Dear Domus, and don't forget the UK with Faithful Creek. You will never get another 3-year-old race in the world like this one.
On dirt, right.
It's on dirt. It's a fascinating renewal. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be all that creative. I think Mubtahij is the best horse in the race. He's been incredibly successful here locally. Let's go back to the Albastaki in the stretch run. He makes it pretty easy. Just comes to the outside of Sir Fever, who will add blinkers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Sir Fever's going to get blinkers. Maybe that improves him. Maybe it hurts him. I don't know what it's going to do to a horse who has made 11 starts and was 10 from 10 until he came to the UAE. Does he move forward? I could see it. Does he back up? I could also see that. So I'm not sure what we're going to see from Sir Fever, but we've seen nothing but consistency from Mubtahij. I know Mike DeCock's not thrilled with drawing the rail. He'd rather be outside of Sir Fever. Maybe he'll have the ability to do that if some in-race dynamics shape up. I'm not as keen on the Japanese. The media from Japan have a real difficult time trying to place how that form shapes up, and we do too. Everyone does. No one knows how good they really are. The best of them being Golden Barrows, it would seem. His damn mother, Russia, she was really good 7 furlongs. When you stretched her out, it didn't get so great. So this is a big stretch out for Golden Barrows, and I'm going to side against him. So I go Mubtahij over Sir Fever, Maftool, and then Golden Barrows in the UAE Derby.
No, Maftool beat Mubtahij. It was a good run from both of them 6 weeks ago. Mubtahij came back and ran and won. Maftool, and you said it when it happened, he was going to take the time off and then run back in UAE Derby. Freshness on his side is going to be very interesting, but it's tough to split those two. All right, let's move on to race number 5. This is the Al Quoz Sprint. 5 furlongs of straight on the grass. $1 million is the purse. And the morning line favorite to the far outside here, Pat, is Pinophobia. Now, this horse has been in really, really good form. Has some good wins on the resume, but a lukewarm favorite. Distinctive Passion, the horse coming in from California for Jeff Bondi. He is exuding confidence. I have been covering this horse all week. He is the speed of the speed, but there are some fast horses in this race from all over the globe. So how does it shake out?
I agree. Distinctive Passion should be the horse they'll have to catch. How long he leads is the question. Don't forget that there was a horse, the Brian Coroner sprinter, California Flag,
yes,
who came here back in 2010 and almost saw it out when this race was 6 furlongs. Distinctive Passion, if that race was 5 furlongs, California Flag might have won it. They changed it since to the 1,000 meters. Distinctive Passion, the one to catch. All the speed in this race is drawn on the stand side. Amber Sky 10, Caspian Prince 12, Distinctive Passion 14, but he is speed of the speed and the one they'll have to catch. It's a crapshoot. 16 horses, and there's not many times in this world of racing where you can say all 16, you really, truly can make a case for all of them. Let's go back to the Maidan Sprint. And with deference to Danny Christofek, our producer, he is going to thank us for the fact that we're only highlighting 3 horses here because we could highlight about 8 of them as he gives us the thumbs up back home. We're going to highlight the winner, Sir Maximilian. He gets in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah.
He runs a really good race.
Right, surprising.
Tug runs a very close second. Casper Netcher was kind of in the clear in third, maybe had an easy go of it. He's actually drawn in between all this speed in this race. But anyway, we're just going to highlight those 3. We could highlight a couple more. One horse I like that comes out of this race is Soul Power. Never had a chance to lengthen his stride. Eddie Lynham with this horse, this is the Cartier Sprint Champion of Europe. But he's 0 for 15 when he's outside of the UK or Ireland. That, to me, is a bit of a question mark. But by gosh, they just had to wrap him up in this race. He had no room to run. You know, when you're up and down, this is the classiest horse in this race. And I've liked him before. I'm going to like him again. I am going to tip Soul Power, Richard Hughes, Eddie Lynham, the Power family. Soul Power for me. I'm going to go 7 with 4 Via Africa to run an improved race second up. 16 Pinophobia, who's very top quality sprinter. And then number 14, Distinctive Passion. I'm going to go 7, 4, 16, 14 in a ridiculous Al Quoz Sprint.
The thing about the Sir Maximilian race is I didn't like that horse going in. He still got in a ton of trouble. Well, he got in a ton of trouble, and he still won. So I'm not so sure that speaks to the overall quality of the race, but we'll have to wait and find out because, like you said, if there's a speed duel up front, trips are going to come into play, the race could fall apart, and a horse like Soul Power can definitely get the job done. Let's move on to race number 6. This is the Dubai Golden Shaheen, $2 million a purse. 1,200 meters the distance on dirt, and this is an intriguing race. You've got Rich Tapestry, who was so good at the Carnival last year. You got American Saludos Amigos and the morning line favorite Secret Circle, both coming into this race in great form and with good resumes. Although I have been covering Saludos Amigos all week. He was supposed to work 3/8 on Wednesday. He missed the entire day of training, which to me is a little bit of a red flag. We'll have to see how that plays out as we move closer to race day and into the starting gate for this race. But to me, Secret Circle, based on his consistency, his American form on dirt, probably the horse to beat.
He's a consistent placer, but he's winless since the Breeders' Cup Sprint in 2013. I think that's a problem. Americans are all right there. They've all drawn next to each other. Saludos Amigos, Secret Circle, and Big Mocker.
Big Mocker.
I think they all have knocks. Saludos Amigos gets class knocks. In the toughest races he's in, he doesn't win. He doesn't even run placings necessarily.
Yeah, he's got big speed numbers, but there's reasons for that.
And he's beaten up on basically the same horses at Aqueduct. Right. This is a big class change for Saludos Amigos, so I'm questionable on him. Big Mocker, the best race he won was when Golden Sense missed the break. I have a problem with that. Secret Circle just doesn't win all that often anymore. I have a problem with that. So what do? You have to start getting creative here. Let's go and take a look at the Mahab al-Shamal. This was the main Super Saturday prep. 4 horses we're going to focus on. Cool Cowboy here on the outside. In the second flight, the eventual winner, Shy She, he's behind Cool Cowboy. Speed Hawk is next to Shy She, and then we have United Color, who's even farther back. Those are just the 4 that we're going to highlight. All 4 of them come back here in the Golden Shaheen. Cool Cowboy was very short of work. He didn't get much training when he was in the quarantine. Right. Doug Watson said he only had 4 works in him.
Yeah, not Doug Watson like.
No, to stay on and run 4th, I thought that was a really good performance in here. I think he'll move forward. He is a little done off by the draw in 13, but there has been one winner from that far out this year from 13 races at the distance. Shy She, I think this was his Golden Shaheen. The Mahab al-Shamal was his Golden Shaheen. I think it'd be very difficult for him to go forward from that. Cool Cowboy's progressive. I think we got the most we'll get out of Shy She.
Yeah, Shy She's a good horse. But...
Meanwhile, United Color is going to be drawn into a very hot tempo. Rich Tapestry wants to go forward. Secret Circle will show prominence. We're going to get it from Monty Ridge, the Saudi horse on the inside. Cool Cowboy will go from the outside. There might be a lot of it there. So I'm looking for that horse in the second flight that I think can sit a good trip, and he's going to be a great price. And that is the Old Hong Kong veteran gelding, number 8, Lucky 9. You say, Pat, what has this horse done on dirt? He's 8, just getting on dirt here. Is he by Dubawi? That's been good on this surface. Yeah. Dubawi's sired 4 individual winners, 7 races, 1 at the Carnival. Go way back into 2010. Lucky 9 has wins on the dirt at Sha Tin in Hong Kong. So that's good. I tell you what, though, there's sometimes in life, in racing, where you just see something and it just clicks. And you say, wow, this was something I really liked. And I watched his last barrier trial in Hong Kong, and I was emotionally moved.
I witnessed that.
It was something else. I really liked what I saw from him because I could visualize him getting the same type of trip. Drawn in gate 8, he's going to stalk, he's going to pounce, and if he gets over this sandy surface, I like Lucky 9, and I'm going to make him the Amwager value play of the day.
20 to 1 in the morning line. That certainly would be a nice hit from Mr. Cummings as we reach the final third of this program moving forward, and race 7, which is 1,800 meters on the turf. It is the Dubai turf. $6 million up for grabs, and the classy, the Great Gatsby is the 5 to 2 morning line favorite. But we also have Cladicera, the female who has been awesome at the Carnival. She's 12 to 1. Mashawish, who has experience here, went to the States, really done a nice job over there, winning most recently at Gulfstream Park, keeping it exciting every time he runs. And then a horse that has impressed me physically this week is Solo. This horse has just been a presence on the racetrack and has some class too. So a few different directions you can go here.
Can't knock the form we've seen on Solo from a winning perspective. Maybe the horses he's beaten aren't as classy as at least the best in this race. But overall, this is a down edition of the Dubai Turf, which means you would think many have chances. I really racked my brain a long time on this one. Where did I really want to go? I didn't have a strong feeling. And then I looked at something. And I realized that the Grey Gatsby was trading at 3-4 to 1 internationally. I thought to myself, if the Grey Gatsby was trained by Aidan O'Brien and you had an Irish Champion Stakes horse like Australia coming here for Aidan O'Brien, he'd be 6 to 5. But because he's trained by Kevin Ryan, perfectly competent in his own right, the interest isn't as great. A lot of people look at his form and say, I don't think he can run 1,800 meters. That's too sharp for him. Go back and watch the Irish Champion Stakes. He and Australia, a phenomenal horse, they hit the lead more than a furlong from the finish, and they break clear of the field. It might not be a massive margin. The Grey Gatsby towers over this field on his back class. He is far and away the highest rated horse in this field. I'm going with the Grey Gatsby. And if you can get a price anywhere near that morning line that I've said at 5 to 2, that's just where I think. I just don't, the name isn't going to catch people. If it was Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore, it would be different. But it's Kevin Ryan and Ryan Moore. People are going to look at that a little differently. They're not going to ignore Ryan. But to me, the Grey Gatsby is the one.
Let's stay on the turf for race 8. This is the Dubai Shima Classic, same purse of $6 million, the 1-2 finisher from the Breeders' Cup Turf. They're involved in this race. Main Sequence at 9 to 5, the morning line favorite. Flintshire was right there with him that day. You've got the brilliant Designs on Rome, who is in the top 5 in the Longines world rankings at this moment in time. So certainly some legitimacy there. This is a good race. And I talked to Graham Motion this week, and he said, he brought the horse over to the U.S. The horse has been undefeated since. But a lot of people are still skeptical about just how good this horse is, even though he won the Breeders' Cup Turf. And Graham Motion would like to silence those critics.
Absolutely. I think he's jonesing for it.
Yeah.
And I'll help you out, Graham. I'm not picking you. So even better. No offense. Very good horse.
Yeah.
And the big talk amongst the Europeans is, well, he's not getting Lasix this time. And that's really just a slap in the face to one of America's best trainers in Graham Motion. It's really doing him a disservice. And to think that his improvement is solely based, frankly, he's not going to be able to win either way if he runs second, third, or last. He has to win this race to prove a lot of people in his home continent that he is as competent as many would think, even though he's a Kentucky Derby, Dubai World Cup winner, and many other grade ones.
Right.
So Main Sequence ran a great race in the Breeders' Cup. Phenomenal race. He had a lot of pace to run at. He has no pace to run at here.
Yeah.
That's a problem for me. Spoke with Saeed bin Saror at the draw on Wednesday. He doesn't think True Story is going to go forward. Maybe James Doyle thinks otherwise. We'll see. Dolnia for the Aga Khan, Alain Duroyer Dupree, Christophe Soumillon. Maybe she goes forward. One and Only doesn't typically go forward. Just the Judge could go forward from gate 8.
I think just the Judge goes forward.
But it's not going to be a legitimate early gallop.
Right.
So the way I said this on Twitter earlier this week, I said I feel paralyzed by indecision in this race. Who did I want? How did I want to go? I ended up tipping Flintshire, and for me, it came down to one thing. I wanted the classiest horse who was going to be closest to the pace. I think that's Flintshire, drawn in gate 2. Andre Fabre, Maxime Guillon, Flintshire over Designs on Rome, Dolnia, and Main Sequence.
Designs on Rome's a really good horse. Is this his best distance? That's the question. I picked him because I think he is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But is it his best distance? You look at the horse on paper and you say maybe not. But why are they in this race and not in the Dubai Turf?
Yeah, the trainer had another horse, Abel Friend, who could have gone to the Dubai Turf, but they chose not to. So he kind of stuck with this plan. John Moore's a genius. There's no argument about that. Designs on Rome, he has to be ridden cold from out the back. Is he going to have enough pace? He's a very good horse. We'll see how good he is on Saturday. And
we'll see how good our reigning horse of the year is, California Chrome, in the Dubai World Cup. $10 million up for grabs. 2,000 meters on the dirt. Previous Kentucky Derby winners to win the Dubai World Cups over Charm and Animal Kingdom. California Chrome draws a far outside in a field of 9. It is your 8-5 morning line favorite. Another very legitimate runner from the U.S. in Lee, trained by Bill Mott, who trained the initial Dubai Cup World Cup winner in Cigar way back in 1996. You got the defending champion African Story, ran horribly on dirt in his first try over the surface, and then came back and surprised both of us by winning last time. And then you've got some Japanese influence in this race as well. So California Chrome, they look to stand out a little bit on paper. This race is on dirt. They will both be forwardly placed.
Lots of ways to pick this up. Let's talk the Japanese first. Epiphany is in this race because the same owners have Harp Star going in the Shima Classic. That's why Epiphany is here. We'll see what happens. Hako Teramai is the best dirt horse in Japan. Champions Cup winner, $8.5 million earned.
That's crazy.
He'll go forward, as I think will African Story. I expect to see him go ahead and challenge for the early going. Can they see it out beyond the Americans later in the race? That's where I think things fall apart. California Chrome got a wonderful draw in 9. I just think Lee's coming into this race better. Absolute picture of perfection for me. I've seen things from this horse that make me believe.
You think a second to Constitution is better than a second to Shared Belief? When, I don't know, I mean, it's debatable. Continue.
No, I don't. If they were in the same race together, it might have turned out differently.
Correct.
Gulfstream Park is way different than Santa Anita is as well. Different course configurations and whatnot. But Lee, to me, is just coming into this right. The owners wanted to be here. The trainer wanted to be here. Everybody wants to be here. California Chrome, you can suggest that maybe it's the owners that were pushing this for the big money. And
no, those guys don't like money.
Maybe he's not, not that he's not 100%. I just think what I've seen this week, Lee has performed better than California Chrome.
Track work, I can't disagree with that.
So for that, I'm going to go ahead and make Lee my Amwager best bet of the day. I have loved what I've seen from this Bill Mott trainee. The 20th anniversary of the World Cup. Go back to the guy who won it the first time, Bill Mott, with Lee. Now, what else can we talk about here? Candy Boy. Finally, he got a draw, not on somewhere way outside. It happened at the Breeders' Cup, the West Virginia Derby, the Kentucky Derby. It didn't happen here. He's drawn right in the middle of the field for Doug Watson. I think that's a great sign. If someone could upset the top two, I think it could be Candy Boy. It leads us into the trackist stat of the day. Last time out in the Breeders' Cup Classic, Candy Boy, a horse who is dying to have a ground-saving trip, he covered 47 feet more than Byron. California Chrome's a horse who loves to be outside. Candy Boy even went a little farther. He went about a length farther than California Chrome in there. Doug Watson's been positive. Everything's gone right. He's more aggressive in the stall. Great works. Everything's positive. All systems go. If someone's going to upset it, Candy Boy. I am going 5-9, 6-1 in the world's richest horse race.
All right, well, let's recap the selections now. We've talked about them. Now we're going to put them all in one place for you to see, and you can find them as well on DubaiRaceNight.com. My selections, Pat's selections, and Mackenzie Kirkerhead tossing her hat into the ring with her picks too. Pat, what do you got?
Well, going to start the day with Surfer taking a bit of a shot despite the bad draw. Brown Panther in the Gold Cup. Mubtahij the Derby. Soul Power and Lucky 9, look at those prices.
Yep.
I think we can get that, and that's going to be great. Ends a little chalky, but it's okay by me. Joe, I want to hear where you're landing.
Well, I went to a price as well on the Godolphin Mile, 15-1 on Sloan Avenue. I think this horse has some upside and should be very ready for this race. Dub Day 15-1, the King of Qatar. Mouth Tool at 9-2. I think he and Mubtahij are on equal terms. We'll have to see if either one of these horses, or possibly both, can move on to Louisville the first Saturday in May. Distinctive Passion's really fast. They're going to have to catch him. Secret Circle, I think that American Dirt form will show well in this particular spot. Solos look great to me on the racetrack. We'll go with him. Designs on Rome. He might be just too good for these, despite things that may be going against him tactically. And California Chrome for me in the Dubai World Cup. Pat, Amwager Bankroll Challenge, you had a $2 trifecta on Super Saturday that got you over the hump, buddy. You are profitable for the carnival.
Hey, it feels good. I'm glad to have it, but this is a new day, and we have $200 each for this day. I am not going to read off all my plays. Danny Christofek, who does such a great job with the graphics, he's going to roll them. We'll just give you a quick highlight overview. In the Godolphin Mile, I'm playing a trifecta using Surfer first and second with 4 horses in the other position and all in third. In the 5th race, I'm going to take $10 to win in place on Soul Power, who I think is going to offer the best value he's offered in a long time. The 6th race, I'm taking that value play. I'm taking Lucky 9. I'm going to wheel him in a trifecta, part wheel, on top and second and in third with 6 other horses.
That would make your night.
We'll see if it happens. We'll see. Guaranteed that there's 2 losers in there. $17 to win in place on Lucky 9. That's going to be another $34. And then I'm going to finish it up at $10 pick 3. I'm going to take the Great Gatsby with 4 logicals in the Shima Classic with Lee to end the night.
All right, I'm going to be a little more conservative with my wager types, hoping to triple my money at least on Dubai World Cup night. We'll go win in place on Sloan Avenue at a price. I really like Mouth Tool. We're going to go 20 and 40 on him. And I really like the exacta box combination of Mouth Tool and Move to Hitch. They've both been very impressive at this carnival. Distinctive Passion for me, win in place in race number 5. And in the 7th race, we're going to go solo, 3-1 on the morning line, but I'd be surprised if he wasn't in the placings. We'll try to get some cash back on solo in race number 7. Don't forget, you can follow Pat and I on Twitter. You will be tweeting like a maniac, I'm sure.
Throughout the week, but race night, it's always tough.
Race night, that's true. It is difficult. You can follow Pat, though, at Dubai Race Night and Trackus Racing, me at Joey Decay Racing, and we do have the live chat starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Dubai World Cup night, as the fans and experts alike can participate with us.
Come one, come all. Should be great. Can't wait. It's been a fun run, and all the best.
All the best. Pat has something in business that he needs to attend to, so we're going to wrap this up. For the incomparable one, Pat Cummings, I'm Joe Christopher. Enjoy Dubai World Cup night from Meydan.